Hello, hi, welcome here to Medspa Profits Marketing. So today we continue a series of talking about how Medspas can use email marketing. Maybe you're one of the people where you find that there's no really connection with your current customers, or you're feeling that you're not getting enough customers come into your practice. I'm continuing showing you some ways of how you can use really marketing that you have a higher ROI, while the spend is really much less than it should be or it would be. So these are some of the strategies or the marketing channels that we can use. And I'm continuing with email marketing. So today, which is our third series in the series, is talking about how you can actually build, your email list. So one of the things to start actually building an email list is to really examine and see where some touch points are for your customers, and also where you can look to see where you can capture emails from your customers. So we're going to talk about some of the tips of how we can accomplish this. So first things first, we need to actually have what we call an ESP. An ESP is really an email service provider, and it's a platform or an app that would allow you to be able to capture emails and then be able to send emails or communicate to that email list on a regular level, or however you may want that to be. Okay. So one of the first things, like I said before, you're going to look and see where and what touch points in your customer journey or in your client journey when they come to, in other words, when they come and interact with your business. Where are the areas, what are the points that you can actually be able to capture email? By capturing, this is usually where they will give you their email really from them wanting to do that, and you're not forcing or finding how to get those emails, but rather where you actually ask them to give you those emails. So the first thing we need to do, again, tip one, is we're going to have to build that email list. Like I've said before, when you have an email service provider, which is an ESP, when you hear me saying that, it's an email service provider, just ESP for short, you will be able to do that. So what are some of the examples? I'm going to just mention a few. There's so many on the market, but the ones I'm mentioning right now are just three. I tend to go with three. They're just three. And the reason for that is because they're really usually the ones that straight out mostly email marketing. Some of them have grown on actually to add more features, but the main thing is that they're providing email marketing services. There's some others actually that can have or be integrated with what they call a CRM, which is a customer relational management tool or system or platform. But these ones don't necessarily have that. They're mostly for email marketing, but they have built more features that they've added to it. So the first example that I'll tell you is ConvertKit. I like ConvertKit very much because it is really simple to use. It's very understandable. It's very easy to learn. The next one is what is called a MailChimp. Maybe you've heard of it. MailChimp is one I've used before. It just got a bit complex for me, and so that's why I moved away from it and used ConvertKit, but some people like MailChimp. And then the third one is Constant Contact. These are the three actually that really started maybe on the market. They're the biggest one. ConvertKit maybe is younger than all the three, but it's really has really picked up because of its simplicity. I'm on many groups and things like that, and it's very, very recommended. I would highly recommend that you use that. It's very easy, especially if you haven't started any building your email list. Okay. The other one, tip number two, is how when you're building this, is how can you get your customers to provide their emails? One of the ways that I've said is to look and review how your customer journey is. In other words, how you interact with customers when they come in. One of the things is maybe when they make an appointment, either through online, if you have an online appointment setter. If you don't have that, that's okay. maybe you call them or they call you, and that's when you create the appointments. But during the signing up on onboarding them into your patient or client management system, if you have an EHR from a healthcare perspective, the electronic healthcare record, you could also use that. You could ask them for their emails. This is something that's right now on the market where we are being asked for emails because we want either that communication is easier, simpler, either from our providers, doctors, or whoever. And also, you know, if you don't have that, if you're using maybe an appointment setter type of thing, either Calendly or, you know, or any other, what you could do is also you ask for an email. Because why? Usually these are going to send them emails, them being either potential customer or just about anyone who signs up or a customer, okay? And so what that does is that it will capture that email and then again add it to the email list. All right, so that's another way. These are some ways that you can capture emails. The other ways that you could actually capture emails would also be when on your website you have the contact, you know, form where patients can contact, or potential patients or customers can contact you guys and, you know, fill in the information. And also you can add as field that request for email. Why? Because you'll be able to actually reach back to them if they have questions, and if there's something you need, they need from you as a business, that you can let them know that, hey, we'll get back to you, and you communicate with them, at least to make sure that you don't lose them, okay? So tip number 3 is, how can you determine the points where you will provide value? Sorry, that you can also use, you know, those points where you can provide value. By this, I mean that on your website, if you have a landing page, depends on what you have. If you have any form of a free, you know, what we call a lead magnet, but it's really a free form of any valuable information that you can provide to either a lead is a potential customer, or someone who is visiting your website, someone who is visiting even your store, if you know, the physical store, or any way that they come to you, that you can provide them some kind of tips or some kind of free information that's helpful for them. You've had, I think, the saying that, you know, give 80% and then sell 20%. So one of the ways is that you give free information. It's what I'm also doing here right now. But information, really not just giving information, but something that will be helpful, you know, for your customers. This could include really simple things like tips on anything. I'll give an example just using skincare, like tips on skincare, perhaps during, you know, winter time, and then also during, say, springtime. Springtime, you could add that with summer when the sun or the heat starts to come up. You know, for example, I can use products with SPF, you know, products to protect the skin, and then winter where it's maybe more dry, and so use something that's a bit more moisturizing, you know, tips like that. Or if there's any other service that you provide, there's so many different services that medical spas provide. Cool sculpting, how can they, for example, continue maybe to keep that, you know, whatever you help them with, to get tucked in or things like that, to keep them in, to still have those results that they got. You know, you could say something like exercises or things like that. Anything you as a professional provider, you know, deem that is necessary for them to provide, okay? And then my other additional bonus tip that I could give is when you create an email list, one of the best things to do is what we call segmenting out your email list, okay? So you'll find that you have people that have already come into your store, or your practice rather, and they've already provided services to. So these are really your customers. Then there are those who are just kind of on the side. They're trying to see, shouldn't I go? Or maybe they're comparing you with someone else, or things like that. The best thing to do is to really segment out these kinds of people, whereby you have, and by the way, by segmenting, I call it what we call a tag. you literally tag the name within the ESP, within, whether it's ConvertKit. I'll be using ConvertKit for the most part. You create a tag that says this is either a lead, a potential customer, or someone who asked about these services, types of services. You can determine what is the best thing that you can do. And in the future, I'll talk about some of these, what are some of the best things, so that you can really kind of zone in as you're sending messages. For example, if a client calls you or fills out a form online and they provide you their email, and they ask a particular service, and then you send them the information, but they don't get back to you. It's good to add them to your email list so that you can continue to provide them more information, not just like bombarding them, but something like tips or how you guys work, or maybe how you differentiate yourself from the next medical spa or things like that, but really nurturing them so that they know more about your services and then make the decision to come, okay? So segmenting email lists is very, very important, because it allows you to send the specific information to those people that they need and not just send it out blindly, okay? So what are some of the results then you can expect when you, after you've built an email list? First things first, for any business out there, we all know, or people know, or maybe they don't, but you have to know that an email list is your gold. That is your goal. That's your thing. You see many of us on different platforms, either social media platforms. Those are really, we are like on rented space. But when you have an email list, that is your asset. That's your business asset. It's not something for someone else. So in other words, if you are kicked off, say, Facebook group, or Facebook group locked you out, because these days sometimes we're just locked out for no reason, you will have a list of ways to still communicate with your patients through the email. So it's very easy. So email is gold, okay? Your email list. Then you have a chance to also grow your customer base organically. Why? Because if you really put things in place, like on your website and other things that are put, a lead magnet, and you are really increasing your email list or growing it, you will have really a way where you are increasing your customer base organically. You're not having maybe to put as much spend into the marketing. There are other ways that certainly you can spend money, but at least this one will be where you're spending less, but get the high ROI for that. Then other thing is, that's the third one, is a way to communicate with your audience. I'm going to call them audience because this combines the leads, the people who haven't yet come through, and also the customers. But you have a way to communicate with them regularly, which is great. And therefore brings us to the fourth, that this will allow you to connect more with your audience or your customers or the people that want to come in, so that 5, when they make a decision to buy, they trust you already. We all know that it takes, or we've heard that it takes about maybe 7 to 11 touch points with any leads that we get before they buy. So this would be a way that, with time, as you do this regularly, communicating with them, nurturing them, giving them information that's helpful, that they'll actually buy from you without a lot of push-up, in other words, you don't have to spend too much. Eventually, when they gain the trust, they say, hey, we can come and buy from this medical spa, okay? And in the end, which is our number 6, the result is that when you, via email, send either promotions or do a call to action, you could ask them to refer you, things like that. You're going to easily get your audience to actually really follow up with that CTA, with a call to action for you, whereby they'll take the action, and so you find that at least there's no, again, heavy lifting as you're doing this, because again, people trust you. You're in constant communication. You've built a bond or repertoire with them, and they're really more, connected with you. They'll be happy to refer any other people that they know, for example. Okay, so those are some of the results that we get. So in conclusion, when you are trying to use the email marketing channel for building your customer base or in growing your Medspa, one of the things to know is that you have to use a good tool to do that, which is called an email service provider tool. And I gave you some examples. We have the ConvertKit, MailChimp, and also Constant Contact. There are many other in the market, but those are the simplest ones that I'm giving you. Okay. Then also we need to be collecting emails along the customer journey. We give our customers a chance to provide those emails to us. And it gets easier actually, because when they either are asking for services or they come in, let's not forget to do that. And also, if you've already actually collected these emails, maybe they're just sitting in your patient or in your client provider management system, we can use them, okay, so that they're not just sitting there doing nothing, maybe just communicating to someone if they ask you for information, but we're actually using it as a way to market or even just to connect with our customers. In the end, it's actually marketing to them. Okay. And then the other thing is that in the end, we are selling to people who already know and trust us. So it makes it much easier actually for them to buy from us, either because they've seen what we're doing, or they've seen, for example, testimonials, or they've seen the before and afters of the people we're doing. And then also in the end, actually, they'll remember to go and check out what our social media profiles, your social media profiles for your Medspa, because as you know, we all have so many things that, we are being bombarded with marketing and all those things. So, and people's attention has so many places to go. So when they know that, hey, this Medspa in particular, they're contacting me, I'm in contact with them, they'll go and connect with us. And so they'll be able to follow along. Otherwise, it's just a blur if you only are pushing whatever it is you're pushing via social media, because not everyone either will be there, or not everyone is going to go and connect with you on social media. So this would be another option. So email marketing in the end is really a great way also to grow Medspas. Why? Because your Medspa. Why? Because you're growing your audience organically, and actually it's much easier also. And then you also end up having better customer service. Of course, when your Medspa grows, you have more revenue, you have more profit, and you're able to hire more estheticians to work in your Medspa, so that you provide, again, more services to more customers. You see how it goes around? And so in the end, you're able to get the people that will help you to provide more services for your customers, so that people are not waiting because it's only you and things like that. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful. Remember to always incorporate this type of, marketing into your type of marketing into your Medspa, that you don't just leave it to chance, or if you have the emails, that you're actually using them more than just, communicating once in a while to your either current customers or people who are asking for information. All right. So thank you so much. I hope this was helpful. Please subscribe below, or, like our page or like our profile, and follow us for more tips. Thank you so much. Bye. This has been Rachel of Medspa Profits Marketing. Thank you.